Unite Against Fascism, a noble enough sounding name, and an organisation I might join myself, if they restricted themselves to doing what it said on the tin. Instead of that, they actually use all their money to produce anti-BNP propaganda such as this. If you've got a couple of minutes, I'd like to discuss with you, explain what's in it, and tell you what should be in it instead. Could be interesting. Please give me a few minutes. They start off having a go at a chap by the name of John Tyndall. And they say a few things about him, and they clearly don't like him. Fair enough. He was the founder of the British National Party back in 1982. Couple of things to point out about John Tyndall. He hasn't been in the British National Party now for 11, 12 years, something along those lines, since he lost the leadership. And he's been dead for a few years. So why he's in current anti-BNP propaganda, well, you might like to ring them and ask them. The BNP blames society's problems on migrants, Muslims and other fashionable targets. I can see why they put it, but it's totally incorrect. We actually blame today's problems on the politicians that caused them. Any angst that we have is aimed squarely at them. The people they list are just as much victims of the mess that the politicians have created as are the indigenous population. And we recognise that. We truly do. Moving on. Can you imagine what society would be like if the BNP's Nazi thugs got their way? They would attack all who stood in their way, and they go on to list it. Trade union activists. Hang on a second. When I was in Chamber, last full council meeting of the Nuneaton and Bedworth Borough Council, I made quite a little speech for trade unions, because I'm a nationalist. And we do recognise and respect the work at the local levels that trade unions have done, both for the members and for the organisations that they work for. So, bit of an own goal with that one. Moving on, let's get further down the list. Gays and lesbians. We're wide open for this one. If you go to look at the websites of any of the other political parties, they've got special sections for gays and lesbians. They must be flown like a very politically correct flag. You've got to have a PC section. We haven't got one. I'll tell you what gays and lesbians are. They're normal people that, largely speaking, just want to be left alone. We do that. Nobody else does. So we are a bit open for that, but it doesn't make it correct. Where's my list gone? Jewish people. Now, I'm sick of hearing this one, and I have discussed it in the past with one of our Jewish councillors. He finds it quite amusing when people actually say to him, "You're anti-Jewish, you're anti-Semitic." And he's like, "Hello, hang on, I'm a BNP councillor and I'm Jewish." And then he watches them go quiet and get embarrassed and shuffle away, and usually take their microphones with them. Moving on. Anyone else who dares to oppose their agenda of terror and hate. Fair enough. There is a quote at the bottom from a Holocaust survivor. Poor chap's been through enough in life without being interviewed by these people. And he's actually not from this country. Fair enough. Moving to the next page, we have a couple of pictures, the top of which is clearly a concert somewhere. Fair enough. The one to the right, I'll just show you that. Hold on a sec. Don't know if you can quite make that out full screen. I'm recording this on a mobile phone. They're claiming a Nazi gives a Sieg Heil salute during a racist demonstration in Birmingham. Now, looking at the chap, he's very young. He is indeed giving a Sieg Heil salute. But if you care to look at his clothing and the clothing of the people around him, you will see EDL insignia. Now, I do appreciate that the people that put this propaganda together are of limited intelligence. BNP is what it says at the top of their leaflet. EDL is what it says on the clothing of the people around him at the EDL demonstration in Birmingham. So somebody just needs to check facts before they go publishing leaflets and distributing them nationally, and certainly in areas where there's elections. Moving on to the last page, you'll like this. Excuse me. We've got the truth about the British National Party. Okay. We're a Nazi organisation, because you didn't know that. Every single leading figure is a hardline Hitler admirer. And Nick Griffin has a criminal conviction for claiming Hitler's Holocaust never took place. So that would be a criminal conviction for Holocaust denial. We're in the UK, folks. Look it up. Holocaust denial is not a crime. Now, I'm not defending it, not in any way, shape or form. because it happened, and it was awful, and all Holocausts are bloody awful. But go look it up. Holocaust denial is not a crime. And the claim that they're making is Nick Griffin has a criminal conviction for claiming Hitler's Holocaust never took place. False. Can't possibly have a conviction for something that isn't against the law. If I wished to, I could claim that the earth is flat, and you could all ignore me for being a lunatic. Doesn't make it illegal. I could demand my right to be wrong. We're connected to terrorism, apparently. Again, this is an old one, goes back many years. David Copeland was in fact a nail bomber, and he did murder some people. And before he did any of that, quite significantly before he did any of that, he joined the British National Party, which he was quite promptly kicked out of. As soon as his local members down in London realised he was a nutter, they kicked him out and reported him to the police for being a nutter. Why they didn't keep an eye on him, I have no idea, but he did indeed go on to do what they've said he's done. But he was not in the BNP at the time, he was kicked out. The BNP is a racist party. You've never heard that one before, have you? They want to kick black and Asian people out of this country. They hate immigrants and Muslims. Margaret Hodge must have written that. The BNP does not hate immigrants and Muslims, and they are not trying to kick black and Asian people out of this country. The BNP actually has black and Asian members. So long as they agree with nationalist politics, we are after all a nationalist party, so if you don't agree with nationalist politics, why would you want to join it anyway? You're welcome to join. There you go. We are a party of violence. Now this last bit's of particular interest to me. Whenever the BNP gets its claws into a community, race hate crimes start rising. Hello. There's a British National Party councillor in my ward. In fact, you're looking at him. It's me. I was elected 3 years ago, and for the first 2 years, race hate crimes in the borough were reported as falling. Now I know, because I was on the committee that the police used to come and report to. So for the first 2 years after I was elected, they went down, which totally disputes this. Interestingly, in the third year they did go up. But if you check your archives, just go and have a quick look around the internet, you'll find out that in that third year there were 4 EDL demonstrations in the borough. EDL does not sound like BNP. The EDL and the BNP, believe me, do not get along. They're not even a political party, they just go around doing marches and things. Moving on to the back, we have 3 further claims. The first one is a quote from Mark Collett, and he's claimed as a BNP candidate. Now, Mark Collett used to be a BNP candidate. I say used to be, past tense. The quote that's claimed from him was in a TV programme which took place, it's at least a decade ago. That programme was recorded, and it is a quote from him, but it goes back at least a decade. He's no longer in the British National Party, so he's definitely not a BNP candidate. In fact, I believe at the minute he's writing literature for the English Democrats. Go figure. There's a direct misquote from Nick Griffin with regards to the immigrants coming from North Africa across to Lampedusa, which is an Italian island, I believe, in the Mediterranean. And they're saying they need to sink several of those boats. Anyone coming up with measures like that we'll support. Well, taking that as it stands on this leaflet, yeah, that is pretty awful. I wouldn't go along with that for a second. I don't expect any of you watching would either. However, what Nick was actually saying, and I do think that his speech is actually on the record of the European Parliament where he made it. What he was actually saying in the European Parliament when he made that speech was what the Italian authorities on Lampedusa should be doing as not a distraction, what's the proper word? As a disincentive, because I can't think of the word I wanted, for the people traffickers who actually take all people's wealth off them to get them across there, to dissuade the people traffickers. When the boats get to Lampedusa, they should take the people off the boats and then sink the craft, rather than what happens at the moment, whereas they take the people off the boats and then wave them goodbye and they go and fetch some more. They're inflicting misery, these people, on the people that they bring across. They take all their wealth off them and give them a lift. They're not helping anybody. There's better ways. And that was the point. And it's on the European Parliament record, I'm sure it is, because that's where the speech was made. The third point on the back is an awful statement that was made by an ex-BNP London organiser. Please note the word ex. if you'd made a statement such as that, and I'm not going to read it, it's awful. If you'd made a statement such as that, and you were an organiser of any political party, you would expect to become an ex-organiser pretty damn swiftly, which he did, quite rightly too. Now then, there's the leaflet. So why have I got one? Well, I live in Barpool Ward. I would do. I'm the councillor for Barpool Ward. I'm incidentally the British National Party councillor for Barpool Ward, as I've already told you. I want to come across my second point now. I want to talk to you about what should be on that leaflet. Because this Thursday, you, if you live in Barpool Ward, are going to be asked to vote on a by-election. Because one of the councillors resigned, the other one. We have a British National Party candidate. His name's Alwyn Deacon. Good bloke, local bloke, very interested in politics, interested in this ward. He should be. He also lives in it. Alwyn and I have something in common. When we walk out our front doors, we're actually in the wards that we do or want to represent. So surely what that leaflet should be discussing is just how bad the existing BNP councillor is. Because he's terrible. He's absolutely awful. He must be. Let's think, what could they put? Don't vote BNP in the forthcoming election because he never turns up at meetings. He's never been to council meetings. He doesn't turn up at public meetings. He just doesn't go. Only they can't, because I have an excellent record of attending council meetings. All council meetings, even, well, not all council meetings, but all of the council meetings that I'm due to be at, plus several that don't need to go to, I go to anyway if there's something on the agenda that I think is going to be interesting and relevant to something I'm doing. So they can't claim that. Public meetings. I have attended every public meeting that's been held and organised by official organisations. I've attended every protest meeting that's been organised by residents protesting against events, and I've spoken at every single one on behalf of the residents. So that's a non-starter. Oh, let's try again then. Right. The BNP councillor, he attends his meetings, yes, we'll give him that, but he never says anything. Well, no, there's several councillors locally that wish that was the case, because I do tend to talk. I get my 3 minutes, and believe me, I use them. I am quite vocal on committee as well. Oh God, let's dig a bit deeper then. What can we say? Yes, he does attend and he does talk, but you want to listen to the rubbish he comes out with. Here it is, let's list it for you. Well, I wish they would. I wish they'd quote me. I have spent considerable time and effort since I got elected, making speeches to anybody who'll listen, with or without microphones, in chamber, anywhere they want to talk to, anywhere they want to talk to me, over the phone, at the front door, anywhere. They don't publish them though. Now that's strange. That is strange, because I'm a British National Party councillor, and every British National Party official or councillor that you've ever seen talking rubbish anywhere, you've only seen them because they made a mistake on that particular day. So, can't be that bad, can I? Bugger. So they're running out of things to put. Things that they might be interested in putting, things that they should be discussing. Things on the ward that I haven't done. They should be listing people from ethnic minorities, because Barpool Ward is quite a multicultural ward these days. They should be listing people from ethnic minorities, coming forward and saying, hey, I went to my BNP councillor and he wouldn't help me. Well, they'd have a shock, because people around here do come to the BNP councillor. Because Barpool has been a Labour ward since 1974, when the current ward system was introduced. And they got quite used to being ignored, taken for granted, never seeing anybody, and, you know, being told I've got paperwork to do when they wanted something sorting out. I've been a bit of a revelation for them since I got the post 3 years ago. So if you do get one of those things, one of these propaganda leaflets through your door, and you live on Barpool Ward, please, if you rip it up, fine. Please don't burn it. Lob it in the recycling. Helps with the borough's recycling targets. Thank you very much. One further thing. Vote British National Party. Thank you.